Hi, welcome to the BoroHubMedia API demo. What is BoroHubMedia? This is a powerful back-end-based API made to make social media interactions easy. The API supports the create, read, update, and delete operations for managing members, posts, comments, and chats. Before we dive into the demo, let's take a look at the API architecture. Here we see how each component of the backend works and relates with one another. The client sends HTTP requests to the gateway, which verifies the token for authentication and authorization using the JWT service. Once verified, the gateway forwards the request to the appropriate resource handler, which queries the MongoDB required data and returns it back to the client. Today, we'll focus on creating a new member, authenticating that member, and managing posts, comments, and their chats seamlessly. The API is built with Node.js, Express, and MongoDB, utilizing JWT, which is the JSON Web Tokens, as I mentioned earlier, for secure authentication. I'll be using Postman to demonstrate how my API works in action.
Let's start by creating a new member. We'll send a simple post request to our API endpoint. This endpoint validates the member's details, which are validated using the join schema validation. Then, here is our function to create a new member. The initialize method first checks if the email or handle is already taken. If not, it hashes the password using bcrypt for security and saves the member to the MongoDB database. So you see here it's been saved. Then after saving, it returns a success response saying member account created successfully with a status code of 2 or 1, which basically means created. The member details are sent back to the user in a JSON function sanitize member data. This sanitized member data is just there to make sure that the sensitive information is not sent back to the client.
So for us to create a new account, I have to make sure our server is running. We see the server is running and the database connected successfully. Then we head now to Postman, and this new member we want to create, her name is Liam Nguyen. Click on if I send a post request to this initialized account endpoint, you actually see that member account initialized successfully. You see the full name, Liam Nguyen, and all the details. You see that all the RSA charts, the followers, everything is just a new member. The arrays are empty. So right now we have to verify if Liam truly exists in the database. So click on find. We see that Liam Nguyen exists in the database, and this is the object ID. Okay, now let's authenticate the member we just created, Liam. We use the access account method to log in. This method checks the member's credentials and generates a token if the credentials are valid. Here's the function of it where it verifies if the email or the handle exists. It also checks if the email or handle is valid. If so, it tells you that, or maybe you put maybe the wrong password or something, it will tell you the input details are incorrect. Code here basically checks if the current access token, which is stored in cookies, is expired. If expired, it generates a new access token by refreshing it. So in Postman now, we authenticate Liam by writing the handle name and the plain password. So once we do this, we actually see that we successfully logged on to the system. So from here, we can actually see that access and the refresh tokens for Liam has been generated. So if you check the cookies, like we go to the get member session and we send the get request, we'll actually see the current member session. I'll see that it's Liam who is the current member session. And if we check the cookies, basically we'll see the access token and the refresh tokens. So we go back to VS Code. We want to end the newly created member session. To do this, the end session method basically checks if there are cookies you clear. If there are no cookies you clear, it sends a no session to end method. But if there are cookies, it basically clears the refresh and the access tokens, and it returns a send success response, meaning saying member session ended successfully. Let's go back to VS Code and check this out. So we can actually go back here, see that verify that Liam is logged in. Then we come back to end member session and we click send. We basically see that the member session ended successfully. Then if you go now and you try to get the current member session, we click send, we'll see that authentication token is missing, that you should try and log in. So here is the authentication phase for Liam. So to create a new post with Liam, all we have to do is we'll just come to the create post endpoint. So we forward check, we'll go and we'll put Liam's ID here. So these are the files you say this this is DJ Liam's update. Then we have files that are already added. If you click send, okay, we see that I uploaded 4 files. This is DJ Liam's update and the post is created successfully. And we can see the post ID and others. It has no likes, it has no comment, it has all that. All this, I'll recommend you check my documentation to actually see, because there are so many endpoints. I'll just choose a few to demonstrate how they work. Experience gain insights into secure backend development and debugging complex issues. Here is my GitHub repository, and thank you very much for everything. God bless you.